welcome to the MeatRx Success Story podcast. I'm Tracy, your host and coach at MeatRx. I'm here today with our friend, and he's going to tell us, Doug, about his journey on the carnivore diet. Hi, Doug.
Hello.
Thank you for coming to our show.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Can you begin by telling us what your health conditions and your diet was like before you came to carnivore?
My diet was probably a pretty typical one. I've been kind of a workout guy for a long time, so I was, typical days started. I'd actually was blending up a shake, a protein shake that had lots of fruit in it, and it was actually coconut water as a base, and taking that with me because I was training at 5:30 in the morning every morning, and so that would be my breakfast because it was fast and easy, and then lunch would be typically something in town, either a restaurant or a fast food place, something like that. And then supper would be, pizza, steak, whatever, it could be any number of things. Typically drink Coke with every meal, those types of deals. So, I'm not atypical, I would say.
Oh, okay. So did you have any health conditions?
Well, I was just getting old, right? I'm middle-aged now, and I was wanting to improve my health. I was, I've been a lifetime. Like, I can remember in high school, I'd go home just about every day with a pretty good headache, and I'd have to, take a nap every day after school to sleep that off in grade 12. And I've suffered from a lot of migraines. I've been hospitalized with migraines, and have a few interesting stories that a few of my friends have found out or, were witness to as far as my migraine headaches, and that was a big thing. And then, the just getting older, you're just worried about my knees were getting a little bit creaky and this type of thing. So I was just, I seem fairly typical, other than, like I say, the biggest thing was my migraines. And then, of course, joint pain and that kind of thing was another concern of mine. Yeah.
I see. So how did you hear about the carnivore diet, and how did you implement it? Did you have any issues when you were transitioning?
Well, I heard about it from a number of sources. I had a cousin of mine, Rick Muncaster. He was a pretty good influencer. He started it 3 months before I did. And then he and I both had some of the same influences. I actually put him on to Michaela Peterson, Jordan Peterson. Of course, we've seen them on the Joe Rogan podcast. Was the biggest exposure for both of them, and for me, anyways. Of course, ShawnBaker, and then some of the other various names that I can't think of right now. different people. My cousin Rick and I, we listened to a podcast to this one gal. I can't think of her name, but I know she refers to burger patties as meat cookies. So
Kelly Hogan.
Yeah, that's right, Kelly Hogan. That's correct. So yeah, it was a number of different things. I know for my cousin, what did it for him was the sleeping thing, getting bed at night and getting up in the morning and that kind of thing. That was one of Jordan Peterson's. One of the things he really noticed was the ability to get up and get out of bed in the morning and whatnot. So that was kind of the straw, so to speak, that broke the camel's back and got him trying it. And then 3 months later, after he was telling me how wonderful he felt and all these different kind of things, I thought I'd give it a shot. And how that happened was I'm a competitive athlete, and pardon me for a second here, just trying to turn off these notifications. So I did what we call a water cut. So I had I think about 11 or 12 pounds I had to drop, and the water cut style that I use is more or less the carnivore diet. You cut out all sugar, all starches. Basically, you can eat 3 meals of as much protein and fat as you want for about a week leading up to your contest, and there's a water loading and then deprivation phase. So basically, I was doing the carnivore diet anyways, and so Saturday come around, the day of the contest, and I thought, I'm just going to stay on this. So I had, bacon and eggs and that, and I skipped the hash browns and had a pretty good day, at the contest, and then just stayed with it. That was kind of my start, and that was April 1st. And as far as the transition, I think I was pretty typical. You got to, as Joe Rogan said when he tried it for a month there, you can't trust your farts for a little while, and there's that. But other than that, it was pretty easy. There was no, there's no withdrawals. I don't think I had any real bad sugar cravings, that kind of thing. I just just kind of eat when I was hungry. That was kind of what my cousin was doing, was eat until you're full, whenever that is. So I pretty quickly dropped to just 2 meals a day. I pretty much just started skipping breakfast and on I went.
Oh, okay. So you did intermittent fasting kind of, but just naturally?
Yeah. It was easy to do. I just wasn't hungry in the morning. So I thought, well, I just won't bother eating breakfast. And, it was usually around 11, between 11 and 1 that I'd start getting hungry because, those 5:30 in the morning workouts. So, I'd eat around then. I would eat when I was hungry, and I was trying to, after a short time, I tried to deliberately do the 6-hour eating window and whatnot. So I was trying to wait until, noon, 1 o'clock to eat so I could still eat stuff with my family and whatnot. And that's kind of how that went.
Sounds good. Okay. So did you ever do any extended fasting or just strictly that intermittent?
I've done OMAD at times. So 1 meal a day, I've done that. I did a 2-day fast a little while ago, and that was good. That was probably by the test strips and whatnot that you can do. That was the deepest into ketosis I had been from any of the testing I had done. So I did a 2-day fast, and that was really easy. I'm not looking for an award for doing that particular one, because it was just simply a matter of supper time rolling around, and I'm not all that hungry. Let's try this 2-day fasting thing. And by the time I ate the next day, I really wasn't all that hungry again. So that was pretty easy. I do want to do longer fasting to see if that has any substantial benefits for me. But for now, like I say, it's 1 or 2 meals a day, and no real restrictions, as much as I want to eat, pretty well.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So what kind of benefits did you notice after going carnivore?
Well, the number one thing for me, like I said, I had a few different things I was hoping for. Sleeping was never an issue. When you're up at 4:45 to get to the gym by 5:30, you're pretty tired when bedtime comes around. So nothing really there. But definitely noticed, like, I don't get my migraine headaches anymore. That's pretty much cured. So I think since I went carnivore, I've had 4. And now I'll get the odd headache, and you take some Advil and the headache goes away. So most of my life, if I felt a headache coming on, it was always really, really tough to tell if it was a migraine or if it was just going to be a normal headache. And of course, with my migraines, if you guess incorrectly, then you don't treat yourself well enough for it, and you're pretty much right off the rest of your day. So the migraine headaches were definitely the number one thing. Number 2, it certainly was no hindrance to my competitive ability. I did really, really well most of last year with my gym. It was good. Basically, what happened was my street weight was around 237 pounds. I'm 6'1", and I wasn't fat like most people look at me would consider me, fit to maybe having a few extra pounds. By middle of July, I dropped down. I had to make 198 pounds for nationals, and I made that quite easily. And I rebounded to 205, and I stayed at 205 pounds for the balance of the year. And it didn't matter how much I ate. A typical meal for me was like between 8 and 12 eggs with some cheese on it for my first meal, and then a big ribeye steak, or 4 or 5 burger patties with cheese on it, these types of things. So I wasn't counting calories, and I was eating a lot. And yeah, I stayed at 205 pounds for the balance of the year. Felt good in the gym. I was putting up decent numbers. I felt really good. Like, it was nice. No headaches, nice, good mental clarity. But beyond that, the lack of migraines has been huge.
Wow, that sounds really good. So what about your joints? Did that change your joints at all?
Didn't help as much as I was hoping. My knees are still bugging me pretty good, but it's a long process too. I kind of, because my sport is upper body, I didn't really train legs much, but I started doing that a bit more last year and this year. And I'm an outdoors guy, and I'm a hunter, and I put on a lot of miles this fall hunting, both flat grasslands in southern Alberta, and then the hills out in the Rocky Mountain foothills. And I was able to go all day, every day for over a week and in the hills, and legs were good. So I would say that's one indicator. Beyond that, though, like the biggest thing I really noticed is when I went away from the intermittent fasting in January 1, I kind of decided I wanted to really focus on the gym, get my strength up for both, there's a few bucket list things, some lifts I want to be able to do in the gym, and as well as up my performance. So instead of doing one meal a day, I started eating as soon as I got home. I figured fasting extended time after workout probably isn't the right idea. And, me being not the most common working out in the mornings, I felt like I better eat sooner. And conventional wisdom on, again, a conventional diet, I've been in and around the bodybuilding scene and the weightlifting scene for a long time. The one constant is they always said you want to eat as soon as you can after your workout. So basically I started eating as soon as I got home and ate a lot, and then didn't worry about the fasting. And between January 1 and my last workout before COVID shut the world down, I achieved, actually, I matched my all-time best lifts. And the one that I really want to knock off, I matched my all-time bench press. And that was something I set in my 20s. So that was really good. And I think I would have went well beyond that, but I didn't have a home gym. So it put all that progress on pause, unfortunately.
Oh, what was that goal for you?
I want to bench 3 plates. I want to do a 315-pound bench press. I've done 295. So actually, I was within 10 pounds of my all-time best. I benched 285 just before, my last workout before COVID shut down. I have it on my little workout tracker on my phone. So yeah, it was good. And it was the gains I made. I was setting like increasing either weight or reps every workout between January 1 and whatever it was, March, the end of March or first part of April, whenever they shut down the world with COVID up here. I was getting stronger. I was increasing my lifts every workout, and I was training every body part twice a week. So that was phenomenal. When you're in your mid to late 40s, you shouldn't be able to do that from what I've read anyways. So, and no steroids, no anything like that. It was just food and fresh air is all I kind of use, and water. So yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
That was amazing.
All that meat really helps, doesn't it?
It would seem, yeah, it would seem, and like I say, I don't check my portions, but fat, right? I understand the basics, which is, fat's your fuel. So fatty cuts of beef, it was quite common for me. Well, back when I was eating those 8 to 12 eggs, I was eating half or a full cookie sheet full of bacon that I baked in the oven every day. Mm-hmm. So the fat content was up there too. So I think that was really important. And yeah, steady energy, like Joe Rogan experienced there. Like I feel good all day long. It's really interesting how that regulates as well.
Yeah. So did you include any dairy or fish, that kind of thing?
I don't do a lot of fish just because I don't. I don't mind fish. It just happens that I don't really take in much of it. Dairy, yeah, I probably shouldn't. My body tells me at times that maybe I should stay away from cheese and milk, but I'll do, dairy is certainly something that was included in that. I ate a lot of cheese, which is supposed to be really healthy. And, with I like Starbucks here and there, and I started getting my chai lattes with heavy cream instead of with milk. So changes the taste, but just little things like that, little adjustments.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It doesn't look like it hurt you at all.
No, nope. No, it's interesting when you can pig out like I do, and you don't put on any of the wrong weight. Like even right now, after changing my processor January 1, I'm still, my cruising weight's between 215 and 220 pounds. Mm-hmm. I don't put on much more than that. I don't lose, like I'm just nice steady weight there. So, which is good because, when the world opens back up, I compete usually under 200 pounds. So I'd have to lose a little bit of that, but I don't think that'd be a problem.
Yeah, you look great. Have you noticed anything unusual that you didn't expect to find out from the carnivore diet, your skin or your teeth or anything like that? And how long have you been?
Like I say, what was that? Sorry.
And how long have you been carnivore?
Again, April 1st of 2019. So a year and a half now, a little bit over a year and a half. Mm-hmm. Yeah, quite a long time. A lot longer than I thought I'd be when I first started it. When I started the diet, my cousin had been on it for 3 months, and he was already talking that, maybe that'd be his forever diet. And I thought, I'll try it I expected to stay on it until summer because I had that weight loss goal for my competition. So I expected to stay on it until summer, and I felt great. So I just stayed with it.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Doug, so much for sharing your story, and I know it'll help many people. I know that people say carb loading. Isn't carb loading something that weightlifters sometimes do?
Well, I think so. Like I'm a little out of touch. I used to, like I say, I've been a gym rat off and on my whole life. And yeah, you look back and, 25, 30 years ago when I first started in the gym, a good friend of mine who went on, he actually won the overall. So he won his weight category, and he wasn't, a big guy. He was 180 pounds or something like that. And the winner of each weight category compete against each other to see who the overall winner is. And he won the overall at the Alberta Provincial Bodybuilding Championship. So, he knew his stuff, and he was a gym owner and all these kind of things. And yeah, that guy, back then it was common, fat was your enemy. So you'd eat lean cuts of meat and then, potatoes or rice or whatever. So this guy, he was eating every 2 hours and lean cuts of meat. And it was quite funny because I learned back then that in the world of carbohydrates, there's really no complex carbs. Because this guy would eat, wouldn't matter if it was potatoes, sweet potatoes, rice, whatever. He's ready to pass out within 15 minutes of eating those 6 meals a day that he ate. So, I knew that was wrong. There's simple sugars per se, like, chocolate bars, those types of things that can spike your sugar instantly. But, everybody knows that you eat Chinese food and you're hungry an hour later. Well, what's a lot of what's in Chinese food? It's rice-based, right? So, I became suspicious of that a long time ago. And because of seeing how friends of mine who were in the bodybuilding world, how their energy levels just fluctuated like crazy, it was an easy thing for me to try this diet and see what would come of that. So it's been interesting, and I'm still learning. Like I haven't researched as much as I should have. I kind of just relied a lot on what my cousin told me. So, by and large, still you see that, right? You see in print and you read articles and they talk about lean meat, or you go, I'm a farmer right now, and talking to this guy and that guy and say, oh yeah, I know you'll like this breed of cow. Like they're really lean, they put out really lean meat, and it's like, okay, that's no good for me. But like I need a fatty cow, right? I don't need lean. And as an outdoorsman and a hunter, that's the only real downfall is when you get a moose or an elk, that you're going to have to supplement your fat, because those are very, very lean animals, right? Joe Rogan talks about that too. So, because he's gotten big time into hunting in the last bunch of years, and, he eats about, talks about eating elk, and I believe he supplements a lot of bacon to bring up the fat content, but he's not carnivore anyways. He just tried it for a month, but he's a meat and greens kind of guy. So he stays away from the starch. So yeah. Sorry, bouncing around there a little bit.
That's perfectly fine. Well, I know you have a friend coming to go hunting with you this week, and I hope you enjoy your time. And
yeah, it should be good.
I appreciate you taking your time out to share your story, and I know it'll help many people. Thank you so much, Doug.
Thanks for having me.
Sure. Have a good day.